It all started in 2006 with a hacking operation that would change the world forever. A world where the most advanced military secrets aren't protected by walls or vaults, but buried within layers of encrypted code. But what if those digital defenses were already breached by an adversary lurking in the shadows, secretly stealing everything? By the end of 2012, a sense of urgency gripped American cybersecurity experts. Whispers of a major breach had circulated within the intelligence community, pointing to an unseen, pervasive threat infiltrating critical systems. The exact nature of the breach remained evasive, but one thing was clear: something big was coming. In a quiet corner of Arnold, Missouri, an unusual experiment was about to begin. This was no ordinary town, but the stage for a bold social experiment. Cybersecurity expert Kyle Wilhoit designed a virtual water treatment plant, a decoy that looked authentic enough to tempt cybercriminals worldwide. The goal? To draw in attackers, study their methods, and trace their origin. Wilhoit's fake water plant was more than a simple trap. It was a sophisticated honeypot, intricately designed to mimic a real facility. Every detail was carefully crafted, from the system's operational protocols to the interface that would appear to attackers as a genuine target. Once it was connected to the internet, the wait began, but it wouldn't be long before the plant caught the attention of cyber criminals. As the virtual plant went live, it quickly became a beacon for hackers, each eager to test their skills against what appeared to be a vulnerable American utility. The diversity and sophistication of the attacks were shocking. While many were amateur-like attempts, some carried the distinct signatures of nation-state actors. To the untrained eye, the virtual water plant seemed like any other industrial control system. But to seasoned hackers, it was an appealing target. As attacks flooded in, it became apparent that this decoy had become a major point for cyber aggressors from across the globe. The attacks on the Arnold virtual water plant revealed a chilling reality. Cyber aggressors were no longer confined to one geographic location. They were everywhere. From North Korea's infamous cyber units to Russia's shadowy hackers, the plant attracted a who's who of digital adversaries. But it was the attacks originating from China that would prove the most dangerous. The barrage was relentless. Hackers from different corners of the world unleashed everything from simple hacking attempts to complex, coordinated strikes. Wilhoit's experiment was proving to be a success, but it also exposed just how widespread the threat was. The plant was becoming a battleground, and the stakes were higher than ever. Among the barrage of attacks, one stood out. It was subtle, sophisticated, and far more dangerous than anything else encountered. It began with a seemingly harmless phishing email, but hidden within was a malicious payload, a remote access Trojan, RAT, designed to infiltrate, surveil, and extract sensitive information. Wilhoit and his team worked tirelessly to trace the origin of this sophisticated attack. The trail was long, winding through multiple proxies and obfuscated routes, but their persistence paid off when they traced the activity back to a server in Shanghai, China. This discovery opened the door to a much larger, more ominous revelation, one that would shake the foundations of global cybersecurity. For 6 years, a quiet yet persistent cyber offensive unfolded across the globe. It all started in 2006, when an employee at a South Korean construction company received an email with an attachment. The email appeared to come from a colleague, but something about it felt off. Unsure, the employee replied to verify its legitimacy, and within minutes, he received confirmation that the file was safe. However, when he tried to open the attachment, nothing happened, at least not visibly. Behind the scenes, a malicious code had been activated. A rat was unleashed on the workers, granting cyber criminals control over his system. Within months, at least 8 companies had fallen victim to the same rat, with dozens more targeted by similar attacks. The surge of cyber intrusions had only just begun. The shortest intrusion performed by a rat lasted under just 1 month. Meanwhile, the longest lasted up to 5 whole years. What started as a cybersecurity experiment in a small Missouri town quickly escalated into one of the largest cyber espionage revelations in history. The investigation uncovered an operation that had been running for years, silently extracting valuable information from a vast array of targets. Operation Shady RAT wasn't just another cyber attack. It was a long-standing, methodically planned espionage campaign. The scale of the operation was staggering, with hundreds of victims across the globe, including government agencies, military contractors, and private enterprises. The discovery sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity community. As more information emerged, it became clear that this wasn't the work of rogue hackers or independent criminal groups. Operation Shady RAT was linked to the Chinese government, specifically its military espionage units. This was a new era of cyber warfare, one where state actors used cyber tools to gain strategic advantages on a global scale. Under the leadership of Xi Jinping, China's ambitions were clear: to build a world-class military by 2049. But this goal wasn't to be achieved solely through innovation and development. Instead, China employed a strategy of intellectual property theft on an unprecedented scale, taking off with cutting-edge technologies from around the world to fuel its military growth. The discovery of Operation Shady RAT highlighted the extent to which China was willing to go to achieve its goals. The stolen information wasn't just sitting idle, it was being actively used to boost China's military capabilities. The global balance of power was shifting, driven in part by the vast amounts of data being stolen and repurposed. John Ratcliffe, the former US Director of National Intelligence, outlined China's strategy: rob, replicate, replace. China was systematically stealing technology, replicating it within its own industries, and then replacing Western firms on the global market. This approach wasn't just about military dominance. It was an economic strategy designed to make China the world's leading superpower. Ratcliffe's warnings were stark and to the point. China's theft of intellectual property was a direct threat to the United States and its allies. The country's aggressive tactics were reshaping industries, weakening competitors, and accelerating its path to global supremacy. The consequences of this strategy were becoming increasingly apparent. China's approach to technological development blurs the lines between civilian and military advancements. Through its strategy of military-civil fusion, Beijing is able to seamlessly integrate stolen civilian technologies into its military apparatus. Within this framework, state-sponsored hacking groups like APT-1 play a critical role, also known as the Comment Crew, Comment Panda, GF-89A, Byzantine Kanda, and several other Chinese language names. APT-1 is one of the most notorious cyber espionage units linked to China's People's Liberation Army, PLA. Their operations have been pivotal in acquiring sensitive information that feeds into China's military and industrial complex. APT-1 and similar groups are armed with an arsenal of cyber tools designed for spying. The information they steal is invaluable, and their success has significantly boosted China's capabilities. APT-1's activities extend far beyond the borders of China. Their cyber attacks have struck at least 71 organizations, spanning defense contractors, global businesses, the United Nations, and even the International Olympic Committee, and have targeted entities across continents, from Canada, India, South Korea, Taiwan, United States, and Vietnam. International organizations targeted by these attacks included the United Nations, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, the International Olympic Committee, and the World Anti-Doping Agency. The scale of their operations underscores the global nature of the threat posed by Chinese cyber espionage. As Vice President of Threat Research at McAfee, Dmitry Alperovich played a key role in uncovering the organized nature of these attacks. His work connected the dots, revealing a coordinated effort by APT-1 to systematically extract valuable information from Western entities, contributing to the broader Operation Shady RAT. Alperovich's research was instrumental in piecing together the broader picture of China's cyber espionage efforts. His findings revealed a methodical approach to stealing and repurposing sensitive information, all in service of China's strategic objectives. By then, he had confirmed over 70 targets, 49 of which were in the United States. The method was consistent: a series of spear phishing emails sent to individuals with significant access within the targeted entities. These emails were crafted to closely resemble messages from colleagues or other individuals familiar with the organization. The only red flag was that the emails sometimes appeared to be written by someone with less than perfect English. These emails contained attachments that harbored malware. According to Alperovich, that malware will execute and initiate a backdoor communication channel to the command and control web server and interpret the instructions encoded in the hidden comments embedded in the web page code. This will be quickly followed by live intruders jumping onto the infected machine and proceeding to quickly escalate privileges and move laterally within the organization to establish new persistent footholds via additional compromised machines running implant malware, as well as targeting for quick exfiltration of the key data they came for. In 2013, cybersecurity firm Mandiant released a groundbreaking report that unmasked APT-1, linking the group directly to China's PLA. The report provided detailed evidence of the group's operations, including their methods, targets, and even the identities of some of the hackers involved. Mandiant's report was a game changer. It exposed that APT-1 was actually Unit 6-1398 in the People's Liberation Army. PLA and APT-1 share the same location near Shanghai, as well as identical missions and capabilities. This unit is tasked with a range of operations, including information and electronic warfare, which spans from sophisticated cyber attacks to more routine activities like spreading propaganda on social media. By 2009, it was already clear that stealing military secrets had become one of APT-1's top priorities. This was a significant development, as it directly implicated the Chinese government in widespread cyber espionage activities. The report also shed light on the specific techniques used by APT-1, including their known attack signatures. These signatures allowed cybersecurity experts to identify and defend against future attacks, though the scale of the challenge remained daunting. A young Chinese hacker first caught wind of the unit when his client, an American defense contractor, discovered malicious software on its network. APT-1's efforts to steal military technology range from large hardware to more subtle components. Notably, the unit has targeted 29 chemical companies and 19 other firms that produce materials for military use. This theft provided China with the data needed to replicate the finished products it sought to obtain. The striking resemblance between many of China's new weapons and American designs leaves no doubt that the work of APT-1 and other Chinese hackers has directly benefited the PLA. One of the most prominent examples is the CAS Rainbow drone, a near-exact the American Kunuri-ila MQ-9 Reap. The Rainbow can carry 6-weapon payload capacity, ranging between 250 and 340 kilograms, and has a ceiling of around 5 kilometers. Similarly, the Reaper also carries 6 weapons, but it has a higher payload capacity of 380 kilograms and a service ceiling of about 15 kilometers. China's AHJ-12 Red Arrow portable anti-tank weapon is another blatant copy, closely mimicking the American FGM-148 Javelin. The Red Arrow has an effective range of 75 to 2,000 meters, extendable to 4,000 meters with TV guidance, and can penetrate 800 mm of armor, launching a tandem heat warhead guided by infrared or TV imaging, attributes identical to those of the Javelin. Additionally, China's Harbin Z-20 helicopter bears a striking resemblance to the American Shishou's UH-60 Black Hawk. The Z-20 measures 20 meters in length, has a 16-meter main rotor diameter, and stands 5.3 meters tall. It can carry up to 10 tons of cargo and may be armed with machine guns, rocket pods, and various missiles. Similarly, the Black Hawk can be equipped with the same types of weaponry. While slightly smaller, the Black Hawk can carry slightly more weight at 11 tons, leaving no doubt that the Chinese design was heavily inspired by its American counterpart. However, China has not always succeeded in creating perfect replicas of other stolen US weapons. Despite this, the stolen designs have played a crucial role in bolstering China's military capabilities. Lockheed Martin, an American defense manufacturer, was one of the first major victims of a sophisticated RAT attack. Back in 2007, hackers stealthily breached its servers, uncovering the blueprints for the F-35, a state-of-the-art stealth fighter jet, the most advanced of its kind. Just a few years later, suspicions began to rise when a remarkably similar aircraft, the Shenyang FC-31, took off on its test flight in China. Rumors had already circulated that the US military was concerned about potential compromises in its systems. But this wasn't the work of a daring spy or an undercover agent. It was far simpler. A hacker, posing as a Lockheed Martin employee's co-worker, sent a series of convincing emails and managed to extract the classified information. And this is just one high-profile case that we know about with a degree of certainty. The saga began with South Korean construction firms, the initial victims of a covert cyber assault. From there, the reach of these attacks expanded to industrial plants, factories, offices, and institutions across various sectors. Each intrusion was more than just a breach. It was a thorough search into confidential systems, revealing best practices, technological blueprints, and operational secrets. The RAT wasn't just stealing data. It was gathering the raw materials for a massive economic overhaul. Richard Baitlich, Mandiant's chief security strategist, was a key figure in the effort to unmask APT-1. His work not only helped expose the group's activities, but also raised awareness about the broader threat of state-sponsored cyber espionage. The evidence presented by Mandiant left little room for doubt. The report provided a clear and detailed account of APT-1's operations, making it impossible to deny the group's connection to the Chinese government. The revelations about operation prompted a quick response from the United States. The government began implementing new policies and strategies to defend against future attacks. New initiatives were launched to strengthen defenses, improve information sharing, and hold state-sponsored hackers accountable. Companies began investing more in cybersecurity, developing new technologies and protocols to protect their data and systems. Chinese officials have consistently denied any involvement in offensive cyber operations, often deflecting criticism with a familiar argument. If the US conducts cyber attacks, why shouldn't China? But despite these denials, Chinese APTs began to adapt, becoming more cautious. They started using non-state actors and masking their traffic to create a veneer of plausible deniability. The days of the Shady RAT operation marked a turning point. The old methods were no longer sufficient, forcing hackers to become more selective in their targets and shift their strategies. The focus was no longer just on stealing information, but on maintaining access in case it was needed in the future. Shady RAT was a critical operation for China, feeding its industries with stolen trade secrets and solidifying its status as a major cyber superpower. However, its impact went beyond just economic gains. It had far more profound and insidious consequences. Despite the efforts to combat cyber espionage, the threat remains. State-sponsored hackers continue to pose a significant challenge to global security, and the battle against them is far from over.